To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so I'm back to tiny house build again today, and as you know, we just got through the Christmas holiday, and I tried not to slow down too much on the build. As you know, I just finished the porch deck, not the roof. I still got to build a roof. That's making getting into the house a lot easier. Now I want to show you this little table. I'm not sure what we're going to do with it. It's a monster. My neighbor gave it to me. He stopped me. Hey, you want this table? Well, I didn't know if Carolyn would want it or not, and I didn't want to keep him around all day long, so I said, sure. He said, I'm just going to take it over to the donation shop, and if you want it, you can have it. And so I took it, and then I showed Carolyn, and you know, it's huge compared to our little tiny house. I mean, it takes up nearly half the deck. I mean, what is that, 2 or 3 feet? So we might have to get rid of that. It would be nice to keep out here on the porch, you know, once we get the roof on. Now, we're not going to do the roof until the spring, and I know there's so many people that said we got to do this and that and this and that. We're just going to do it in the spring. We're going to pour concrete. I know I don't have to pour concrete, but we're going to pour concrete in little tubes to kind of weight it down. Concrete can freeze. Now, someone did tell me, and I don't know how true it is, I'm not going to try it, but somebody told me that if you put antifreeze in the concrete, it won't freeze the concrete while it's drying. Said he has a friend who does it in New York. But I'm not going to do it because that would be a waste of a 4x4 if it didn't work. I'd have to try to chip that 4x4 out of there and a bag of concrete. Now, concrete's not that expensive, but the 4x4 is. So we're in a tiny house and things are working out really well. We're supposed to get some bad weather today, a winter weather advisory. So it's nice to be inside the tiny house where it's nice and warm. We got the wood stove going again today. It takes just one log at a time to keep this place warm. I just opened the door, so I'm a little chilly now. As you can see, I got the vent all the way shut, which still allows some heat to come through. Now, a lot of people keep telling me I'm going to get creosote in the pipes if I run it too cool, and we are going to buy a thermometer, but it's my understanding that if you keep this shut, it runs at the minimum temperature to avoid creosote in the chimney. Now, that being said, I'm not opposed to doing maintenance on things. It seems like a lot of people said, if you don't want creosote, you're going to have to do this and that and this and that. Well, of course, I don't want creosote, so I'm just going to go up there each spring and clean it out really good. It doesn't hurt to do maintenance, keep everything nice and fresh. That way I can check the little baffles or catalytic converter to make sure they're still in good shape. And if they got a problem, I can order them in the spring way before winter hits. This has done better than I could have expected. I really thought it was just going to cook us out of here, but the only time it cooked us out of here was me trying to learn how to use it. And you know, I kept reading the instructions and going back and playing with it, reading the instructions. But once I start to understand how it operates, it's done fine. Don't put too much wood in it. If I put 2 logs in there, it'll cook us out of here. 1 log is done fine. And when I talk about log, I'm not even talking about a huge one. That right there will last 6 to 8 hours in the stove and keeps us warm. It's incredible how well this does. So I'm really excited how little firewood we're going to use. I am worried that we're going to run out this year because we're using the old Franklin wood stove down there, the wood eater of all time. But this is doing great. Just got some news yesterday. I got a family member coming up to visit me in a couple of weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. Of course, I have no place to let him sleep. I mean, we just don't have a plan for visitors. But he isn't going to stay overnight anyways. He was going to come up. He wants to check the place out. Of course, it's still a mess, but it's understandable considering how terrible this place was. So I'm kind of remotivated to get as much done as possible before he gets here so he can see it. It's unlikely that he'll ever get a chance to come by again, so I want to make sure that I give him the best tour possible. I don't know, I'm just excited about it. I'm gonna get back to work at doing what I was doing yesterday. So yesterday I was working on the metal ceiling. It's going pretty well, not that hard. Now yesterday I told you that we have a hatch right here. You can probably see the outline of the hatch. Carolyn and I got to talking about this hatch. It is really not going to be that accessible once we get the furniture in here. We're gonna have shelving over here. The bed's gonna be right where I'm standing. Now I have another hatch that is much more accessible. It's right next to the wood stove. We'll never put anything there. We thought we want 2 hatches so we could climb back in there and get it. But we probably would always end up using this one anyways, because we'd have to get on the bed, we'd have to move the bed out of the way, get a little step ladder there. Whereas this one, it's right here. We could actually hang a little step ladder maybe right on the wall, pull it down, get up there. It'd be much more convenient. The only inconvenience to that is that we'd have to crawl all the way to the other side of the, I keep calling it an attic, it's a loft, all the way to the other side to get our stuff. But if you think about it, the stuff you're going to put over here is going to be long-term storage anyways, like totes for winter clothes or summer clothes or whatever. And so you go up there once a year, crawl back there, and it's not that bad of a crawl. I have a little hobby I might put up here, and I could work on my hobby. It's going to be insulated up there. People keep saying, oh, you're going to have to ventilate it, you're going to have to ventilate it. It's going to be its own little room. So I don't have to ventilate it. Even if we kept this one open and ran a little fan, that'd be plenty of ventilation. Remember, we're running wood heat, so it's not like we're going to get a lot of condensation. Summer might be a little troubling because it's going to be a little hot. I think eventually I might put some windows up there and we could open up the windows. So my point is Carolyn got to talking about this hatch, and she likes how seamless this has turned out with the ceiling. And she said, you know what, let's just cover that hatch. So I don't even have to cut that out today. So I'm just going to keep on going, laying out full sheets. I think have to cut 1 sheet in half because these sheets are 2 feet long. The building's 12 feet wide, but you got to remove a foot of material because you got 2x6s for the wall. So the outside is 12 feet, the inside is 11 feet, or just over 11 feet, or just under 11 feet, or whatever. So I got to cut some of it off. That shouldn't be a big deal. So that means I can just keep on moving along until I get over here, and then I just got to make several cuts all at once, which is good because I bought 2 extra sheets. And that way, if I make a mistake, I'm only making a mistake on 1 sheet instead of possibly making a mistake here and then coming over here and making another mistake. A little less work, not having to cut so much. So I'm really appreciative on this. So I hope you can really start to see how this is starting to take shape. That rustic look that we were going for, I told you in a previous video, with the pallet wood walls and the tin ceiling. I'm really happy how well this turned out. Carolyn's got quite the imagination. It's very impressive. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Okay, so I got 1 whole side done. I'll try to get the insulation out so you can get a good idea of what it looks like. I don't know if the camera's picking it up as well as it looks inside. It really brightens the place up, and it contrasts the pallet wood very nicely. I'm really enjoying this. So I just got to do this side now. Now I did find an opportunity to avoid another mistake. Mistakes have really been starting to add up, and they're starting to really get to me, and I find myself procrastinating because of them. But here you'll see maybe that I only had maybe, what, 8 inches that I needed to put right here. So that piece came, and then I had this piece. Now I'm going the wrong way. I said that in yesterday's video. That was a mistake that became a happy mistake because it holds this piece up and it's a lot easier, but long story. Go check out yesterday's video. So what I ended up doing here was I took a full sheet and I slid it up underneath this sheet. That way I didn't have to cut this sheet. If I'd have cut this sheet, of course that would have been an introduction for a possible error. Now also remember, this is going to get some trim here. And so that'll hide that. You won't even see that corner there. So, and that's what Carolyn's waiting on, is for me to get the ceiling put in so she can finish up the trim. She's actually got quite a bit of spacing left over here to do. I think she's got a full board left. Okay, so there it is. That's most of the house is done now, or most of the ceiling is done now. So that's the side I showed you earlier. This is the side by the door. And then I just got to go around the stovepipe here. I really lucked out. This attic box here comes with a piece of trim. And it just so happened that this spot right here came up right where the trim will end. That it was just, oh, lucky. So that's one less cut that I got to do. So I was able to put that piece up today. So this one is probably going to be the most complicated piece. I got to do this right here. But it's got to cut. It's going to be an L shape because I'm going to have to cut that out. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but so far, this is the only piece that I got to cut. Well, there's two pieces here actually. I got to cut another 8 inches. So one piece and one full strip 8-inch. Even if I make a mistake now, I got plenty of leftover material. I can see on my face here that I got the metal roofing material from my hands. Carolyn says she absolutely loves it. So I hope I can inspire you to have a dream and paradise. Thanks for watching.